I have a new fascination, a volcano. It's hard to look away from it. I'm fascinated to the point of being mesmerized by the ongoing volcanic eruption of, and you'll pardon my Icelandic pronunciations. Icelandic is a very hard language. The eruption of the Geldingadalur volcano located in Fagradalsfjall, the Reykjanes Peninsula in Iceland. I took a lot of practice in phonetics. As of today, this volcano has been erupting for 73 days. Yes, 73 days. Now, this isn't one of those huge mountain-like volcanoes like Mount St. Helens, who blow up in dramatic and catastrophic fashion. This is a shield volcano, a broad domed volcano with gently sloping sides. They say they kind of look like warriors' shields, hence the name shield volcano. Iceland was and continues to be shaped by volcanoes. This particular volcano, which has sat dormant and still for centuries, sprang to life suddenly in early March with a series of small earthquakes, and volcanologists discovered that the magma or lava flow was running just beneath the surface of the earth, searching for a way out. Well, it found a way out through a series of tunnels and vents broken in the earth's surface that began to carry the lava out into the surrounding valley. Those original vents that started it all are now quiet, but several vents later, the Geldingadalur volcano is erupting in spectacular fashion through a large cone vent approximately every 6 to 10 minutes, give or take, and almost every attempt to contain the lava within the valley has been breached. Well, the volcano will sit quiet for a little while, then the signs of another eruption will begin to show. The enormous vent and crater will begin to brighten to a fiery hot orange, and molten liquid lava comes pouring out as if someone is literally tipping it over. As it spills over the sides of the crater at breakneck speed, flowing like a high-speed river down into the valleys below, the lava pool within the crater begins to jump and dance, often shooting straight up into the air, spreading red-orange lava in all directions. Each eruption is different. Every time it erupts, the landscape changes as the lava flows downward, heading towards the sea. Any attempt at stopping this flow has been valiant, yet futile. They are trying to protect some infrastructure, a main road, fiber optic cables, etc., that lie miles downhill from the crater. But each time a new wall is built, the lava finds its way over it or through it. And down is not the only direction it's going. At this point, the lava is literally pushing its way uphill. Well, I feel badly for the infrastructure, but you have to admit that it is outstanding what is happening. I think what strikes me the most about this ongoing event is the unpredictability of it, the beauty of it, the danger of it, and the fact that this is Mother Earth doing her thing. This is the story of creation. What better visible symbol could there be right now for where we, small by dimension, humans find ourselves as we are erupting out of one of the worst catastrophic illnesses ever seen before, as well as a global reckoning with who we are as human beings. Right now, on this peninsula in Iceland, hundreds of people are gathering every day to hike up the long path to the volcano to study it, observe it, photograph it, and to simply have the shared experience of being near this massive act of creation with others. And right now, right here, we are having a shared experience of emerging from a dormancy we never expected to go through. What a time of creation this is. And you know, this isn't the end of the story or the beginning of a new one. This is just the story so far. Author David Loy wrote, "We do not experience a world and afterward make up stories to understand it. Stories teach us what is real, what is true, and what is possible. They are not abstractions from life, though they can be that. They are necessary for our engagement with life, As the Scottish philosopher Alistair MacIntyre puts it, I can only answer the question, what am I to do? If I can answer the question of what stories do I find myself a part? So, if this is my story so far, what am I to do? Well, to start by taking the cue from our Mother Earth, I have an opportunity to dramatically and creatively change my own landscape into something brand new. After today, I will be on summer vacation, so to speak. My internship contract with you is for 18 months, split between 2 church years. So as year 1 draws to an end, I get to go on hiatus. On the one hand, that is very exciting because who doesn't like to have the summer off from work? On the other hand, I really won't be taking time away from working, and I will miss our story together. Our story so far through my first internship year has been so good, even though a very vital element of ministry has been missing because of the pandemic. I was reminded of this missing piece a few weeks ago when we held the flower communion service outside in front of the church with members of the congregation there in the seats. We really did know this already, but the missing piece has been able to see you all in person. You know, Zoom has had its advantages over our time of semi-dormancy, yet it has its limitations. Like right now, for example, I can't see any of you as I speak these words. I know that you can hear me and see me, but some of that connection between us is missing. That missing piece is out there beginning to wake up from the long slumber. Thank goodness that this is just our story so far. It will be a very different scene this fall. This past year serving as your intern was also a year that I think I met one of my greatest challenges. Just about 2 months ago now was when I met with the Ministerial Fellowship Committee. You were also wonderful during that time. You supported me and held me up in a way I didn't really expect. And I thank you from the depths of my heart for all of that. True, the outcome of that meeting was not what I wanted, but the MFC did give me a great gift. They invited me back to see them again after I have more time to form deeper into my ministry. After taking a few days to regroup after that stressful weekend, I sent an email to the ministerial credentialing director to see if it was too soon to reschedule. I wanted to get back on the calendar as soon as I could. His response was, of course it isn't too soon. And so I now have a meeting with them sometime on March 24th, 25th, or 26th of 2022. They gave me the gift of time. Time to allow the metaphorical lava churning around inside me to find its way out. My landscape needs to change and grow. I need to try to answer the question of what story or stories do I find myself a part of? This summer is my time to be doing that. I don't plan on sitting dormant. I plan on erupting in hopefully glorious fashion as work is done to change my own personal landscape and the world we all share is transformed from where we have been. I'm excited to return in September when we can share our outstanding stories of how we created a new narrative out of our earthly core. It's entirely possible that when I am with this wonderful congregation again in the fall, that the volcano in Iceland will still be erupting. Scientists can't predict what will happen, but only study it as it unfolds. They say it could go on for years or it could end in a day. They're not sure. Now, I plan to keep watching to see if the lava reaches the sea, or if new vents and lava craters are formed, or if it does go quiet once again. Remember always that our stories do not end. They keep going. They keep changing course with each new experience we have. May the story of your summer be meaningful and deep. And I look forward to September when we can share with one another our stories so far. And this point, I would like to open it up to the congregation to answer a couple of questions, or a question. Is it possible that you are only in the middle of your current story, even if it feels like you've arrived at the end? And do you believe in happy endings? So I will type that and put that into the chat because I don't think I put that into the text sheet. So feel free to think on that for a moment. And I would love to hear where you feel your story is so far. I apologize, I'm having trouble copying.
Feel free to raise your hand. Let me know. Beth, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Nothing like making yourself speakable. I was just thinking of when you think of our stories, I came across something I had written to Carlotta. We all remember Carlotta. It was a time when she was feeling lonely, missing her husband, and I wrote something to her. So when you think of our stories, I guess the thing that was coming to mind for me was the uncertainty. Our lives are that, if they're anything, and I know for me, turning 7 decades this year, there, I have the sense that time's running out, and what am I gonna do with the rest of it? So.
Reverend Laura.
I was with a friend yesterday at breakfast, and she had gone and spoken to somebody who was like, able to read her future. And she had said that your future looks kind of like a four-way highway entrance. So it's kind of a loop and another loop, so it's always, there's always a little loop, and then it goes to the next one and it loops, and the next one it loops. And she said that, no matter where you're going, there's always something around the corner that you can't see. And I really like that, because I do believe that life presents us constantly with things we can't yet see, and whether they're good or bad, it certainly means we're on for a ride that we can't control or anticipate. So I definitely don't think the story's done, Lisa. And I'm grateful you've been part of ours for this year.
John, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi. Yeah, I guess I maybe think a fair bit about this question at 49 now. I maybe have a little different perspective. I choose to. I'm not a very linear thinker, and I struggle a lot, especially with time and I know scientifically there's entropy and there's a beginning and there's an end, but I think we experience life in a different way, and I think history often intermingles with our present and our future, and I look at that as very positive. So it helps me remind myself that well, things may have happened in the past that are good and we miss, or things may be coming up that we're going to struggle with. It helps me center in the now. And I obviously nobody knows, but I choose to think of both the beginning and the end as a very similar event. If we don't think of things linearly, you know, perhaps it's cyclical or some sort of strange dimensional geographic form that we don't understand yet. But that helps calm me, and so I do think they're happy endings all the time. I think they're happy beginnings all the time, and yeah, that's what I have to add.
Thank you. I'm Richard, go ahead and unmute yourself over here.
Yes, just as my age at latter 80s, I feel that, you know, I've had a lot of good accomplishments. I've had many leadership positions, and basically now I just want to make, spend the rest of my time making people participating, being a participant, making people feel good, checking in with people, just enjoying life. So it's realistically, it is near the end of the story, you know, and I'm quite okay with that.
Thanks, Richard. Marie, I see your hand.
I think about how there are times where I just get real down, and a lot of it has to do with my family of origin. And I'm going, geez, I'm 66 years old. Why do I keep going through this stuff again? And I get in a funk for a while, and I've been sort of in a funk about my favorite sister, actually, not wanting to talk to her or be with her, but something kind of happened, and I'm not going to get into that. And we were texting this morning, and I texted to her that, you know, thank you for listening and thank you for your advice. And that would be something I would not have said when I was so upset with her, because she tends to give a lot of advice. And so I thought, okay, so this is part of life. I am going to go back to things, especially when other things remind me of things that upset me. And so my story is unfolding, it's refolding, it's going forward, backward, and forward again. And I'm realizing this is going to happen. Not I'm realizing, I have to realize it anew too many times. So it is a continuing story.
Thanks, Marie. I'm not seeing any other hands. If I've missed you, please go ahead and unmute yourself and speak. All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you all for sharing your stories so far.